Hi, welcome to today's video. My name is Paul. So this week, as you can see, some charcoal landscape drawing. Actually, the video isn't really about this drawing. It's just something to watch in the background. The video itself, I'll be focusing on answering sort of question / comment from a video a couple of weeks ago. And it's to do with, so when you're getting started, things like books and courses and classes. Are these things useful? Do I think they're useful? Have I taken them? What was my experience with them? Things like that. So I'm not, in the video, I'm not recommending any specific books or classes or courses, anything like that, for the simple reason that I can't recommend courses or classes to you. I don't know you. I don't know what level you're at. Or your goals or your interests or the style of art that you like to paint. Because I don't know the answers to any of those things, how can I, how could I possibly recommend anything to you? That's my way of thinking anyway. All I can really do is talk about my own experiences with books and classes and courses and whatnot, and just share those ideas. They may be of some use. Also, disclaimer, again, as usual, just as I say, just my ideas. I also, just for clarity and transparency, I have created online courses in the past. I have one class on Udemy and several classes on Skillshare. So I just wanted to put that out there so that nobody thinks I'm trying to sort of in a clandestine way trying to sell you courses or anything like that. I just want to be transparent. This video is not about recommending classes or courses or trying to sell you anything. It's just my ideas about these sort of resources. Okay, so that's enough, I think, of disclaimers. We're going on with the video. First of all, books. Have I used books? Do I think they're useful? Do I use books? All those questions is yes, but maybe with some qualifiers. So I think books are really useful in certain ways. So for example, when you're getting started, you may have questions like, I hear people talking about color theory. What is color theory? What about things like values or perspective? Is linear perspective, aerial perspective, are they the same thing, different things? What about this atmospheric perspective or planar perspective, and so on and so on? Composition, all these different ideas in composition. What does it all mean? Can I use any of these ideas to help improve my own art? Those are the sort of things where books can be useful. There is a limitation on what you can do, how much you can teach about art just with written words and static images. But certainly the technical stuff, yes, you can. And a really good book will give you lots of examples. So show you how to use different composition ideas, show you how to use different types of perspective to help improve your own art. So I think those things are very, very useful resources to have if you can find the best books and things for you. All I can suggest is if you live in a larger city with good bookshop, just go to the bookshop on the art section and just hunt around for what seems like a really good book. Other things with books is art history. So all of the different sort of movements within art, all of the different isms. Cubism and expressionism and realism and impressionism and so on and so on. What do all these things mean? What were those artists trying to achieve? Again, looking at examples of that style of art. And the reason I say this, because I do think that at the beginning when you're getting started, if you can pick one of those genres, or not genre, but one of those styles of painting and try to reproduce it in your own way, it can be really useful. It can give your initial sort of learning some direction, something to aim for. In my case, I love Impressionism, so I was trying to recreate sort of impressionistic paintings in watercolor. rather than the usual oil paint that most of the original Impressionists used. Whether or not I succeeded in that, I'll leave that to other people to decide, but it certainly helped to give me some direction initially. Now, I didn't stick with that forever. These days, things like minimalism and other influences changed how I tried to do landscapes and things. But certainly, that initial movement towards Impressionism did help me to make some advance and some headway in the early days of learning to paint. But as I say, I think books, they are limited because it is only static images and static words. The advantage then of online courses, of course, you can have video. So you can sit and watch, as we're doing here, you can watch the person drawing and painting. If you like their style and what they're doing, you can maybe learn from that, incorporate some of the things that they do, build on it, make it your own, that type of thing. So online courses do have that advantage over sort of static books. For me, the biggest problem with online courses, and as I say, I've tried to create online courses in the past, the problem is your course a good match to the person who buys the course? What I mean is, if you're going to spend money on a course, you need to make sure that the course matches your level, matches your experience level. It matches your goals. What are you trying to achieve? It matches the sort of style of art that you want to paint or draw in. And if it doesn't do that, the course, you may not have a good experience with the course. And as I say, this is why I can't really recommend any specific courses or even books, because I just don't know the answers to all of those questions for everyone. Plus, of course, everyone's different, so as I say, one size does not fit all. But it is something to watch out for with courses and also books, really. You know, does it match what you're trying to do? Does it match your experience level and so on? Another possibility then is classes. Sort of before the whole pandemic thing, art classes would have been mostly in person in some sort of art school or something like that, or adult education type of establishment. These days, there's also more and more real-time online classes. I have never taken one of those, so I can't really say much about them. In previous jobs, in sort of the corporate world, I did do a lot of, although I was based in Ireland, I worked with a team who were based in Boston in the US. Sometimes I would go out there, sometimes they would come over to me, but an awful lot of the meetings and things were held via Zoom and other such technologies. And the one thing I can say is that it was often frustrating because the images would break down, the audio would get lost, etc., etc. It wasn't a perfect experience. So I sometimes wonder, these online classes using maybe Zoom or something, are they going to be frustrating for the teacher and for the student because the technology is not 100% reliable? But like I say, I've never taken those sort of classes, so I don't know. In terms of in-person classes, I have. Many years ago, I did some life drawing classes. Life drawing, I definitely, if you're okay with the idea of drawing people naked, then I definitely recommend it, because, for example, if you're drawing a bowl of fruit, and you have some apples and oranges and apples and things, if the apple is slightly too big compared to the orange, it doesn't matter. As long as it looks like an apple, people will accept it. Whereas if you're drawing the human body and you get one of the shoulders is slightly too high, because our brains and our eyes are so used to looking at other human beings, we immediately notice even the little things. One finger is just doesn't look right, it's a little bit too big. the shoulders a little bit too low, those things immediately stand out. So what I'm saying is, if you're going to learn to draw and you're really interested in learning to draw accurately with really good proportions and positioning and perspective and all of those things, I definitely recommend life drawing classes. If it's available to you. It depends again on where you live. The nearest classes may be 100 miles away. But if it's possible, I definitely recommend it as a way to learn to draw. And say I took the classes many years ago. Some people may say it didn't improve my drawing ability. Again, that's personal opinions. But I certainly feel as though it helped me. So anyway, those are my ideas on classes, courses, books. They are useful, but they're not, I wouldn't say they're necessary. I think you can get into art without spending the time and money on those sort of things. In terms of this drawing, this is the scan. I got the scan completely wrong. I don't know, the contrast is way too much or something. So there's big black bits and white bits and it looks weird. But anyway, I was happy with the final drawing. I was happy with the process. It was just fun making the drawing, so that's the main thing, as I've said before. Okay, if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Hopefully it was of some interest, some use, and hopefully see you in the next video.